This is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
Hello, this is Russell from Homes of Evil, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Alright, kids, let's have a little bit of small talk here. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Marvel Tales, the show about everything Marvel Comics. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, it is
the astonishing owl.
Nice.
Just in the owl swooping back there.
That's right, kids, because today we're going to be talking the astonishing Ant-Man from Marvel Premiere 47 and 48. That's right, kids, the first appearance of Scott Lang. That is funny. You look at that cover, it's like Marvel Premiere, and then even bigger than that, the astonishing Ant-Man.
Is this the real Ant-Man or an imposter?
Ooh, all new. Tell you what gets me 35 cents.
That's right.
God, that's the first appearance.
I remember that.
That's the first appearance of Scott Lang. So I mean, say you bought that originally for 35 cents. I mean, your investment probably paid. Keep that good shape. It probably paid off very well.
Yeah, especially over the last few years with the films. Man,
yeah.
If somebody kept that in good condition, they could have made a mint.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. That's what I was talking to someone the other day. I'm just like, I remember when I started collecting, and that's when the comics, it was like, I think it was right around when they were going from 75 cents to $1.
Yes, that was the same for me as well. Yeah.
And it's like, do you remember that point where it's like right before they put the tax on I think George Bush Sr. put there was some weird paper tax or something, but before that, there was no tax on comics. It was like, if they were $1, you were just paying $1. So it's like, hey, I want 3 comics, there's 3 $1 bills,
Yep. Those were the good old days. Uh-huh. Absolutely, I remember that because I used to get $5 a week for allowance.
Oh.
So for a while, that equated to 5 comic books a week. And that was awesome. I loved that. Like, for a kid, that was fantastic.
Then you had that tax, and it's like, wait a minute, now I can only get 4? What?
And then they started, it was shortly after that they started doing the embossed covers. Covers.
Yeah.
So they started going up to $3 an issue and $4 an issue for the really big ones. So, yeah, my allowance got eaten up real quick after that. Had to start bagging groceries.
Oh, man. Now we just get 20 variant covers.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes more than that.
Oh, yeah. If it's something big, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first issue of Moon Knight, the new series?
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago? I think it was something like 50 variant covers. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God! You said 50. What was that? Was that? You remember that series U.S. Avengers? I think they did like a cover for like every state in the United States. I'm pretty sure. It might have been over 50 because there might have been, did they do a Puerto Rican one? I forget, but it's like, and then they might have did like it just like a group cover thing. But yeah, there was like 52 covers that things they did like a Avenger for each state, even though
that's wild.
Some of them it's made no sense, but
yeah. Do you remember who was for your state?
Oh, Pennsylvania. I forget who was, I don't know if I was too impressed because I can't remember. Let me see. U.S. Avengers. There we go. U.S. Avengers, Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. Got Doctor Strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Which, again, it's fine, but it made no sense.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a story about him being from Pennsylvania or living in Pennsylvania for any...
Oh, and Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, was the Avenger from Maine, from my state. Wow.
Oh.
That's
what I'm saying. Some of them, I think they just had to, like, pick,
Yeah.
Because some of them made sense. Because
would have picked Squirrel Girl from Maine.
Nice. Because some of them made sense, like Quasar was for Wisconsin, but in his origin story, he grew up in Wisconsin, so it made sense. But
that totally makes sense.
I guess it just shows like a lack of, we don't have in origin stories. We don't have a lot of our states in this country that no characters or any major characters coming. Well, especially Marvel, it's like, probably the majority of them, it's like New York.
New York, yeah. But if you looked in the official handbook when we were growing up, a lot of times in the profile, they would have their place of birth in there. I used to make note of that. I remember I kept looking for if any of them had been born in Maine, in my state, and only one was, and that was MODOK.
Oh, really?
Yeah. MODOK was born in Maine, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, there's probably been more since, but growing up as a kid, I remember making note of that. I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you like better? Do you like the foil covers and all that shiny jazz, or do you like variant covers better?
It's tough because I do sometimes if they do the foil covers right, they sometimes can look really good. Sometimes they can look really cool. I remember there was one, there was a Hulk one. I think it was 400, where there were all the, kind of like these foil prisms, like these crystalline foil prisms that actually made sense to what was the image that was on the cover.
Oh yeah, it was like Hulk first leader, and there was like a naked Marlowe and like a
that crystal prism.
Yeah.
And there were all those, they're like those foil things, and that actually looked cool. I was like, yeah, I can get behind stuff like that. And for a while, when they did the Avengers 30th anniversary, they had like some the foil embossed covers.
Yeah.
They like did a copper one and a silver and a gold one. Those were cool. And the Spider-Man 30th anniversary, when they did the holograms. I thought
on all four of them, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked those. But a lot of them were just frivolous and just kind of, okay, let's make an extra couple of bucks off of this comic book for no other reason. I remember Iron Man one year, there was like 3 or 4, like within a 6-month period. Foil embossed covers. Like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, because I think, what was it? Was it 290? I think when Tony Stark came back from the dead, supposedly that one, and then like 10 issues later for 300. Of course, we're going to do something for 300.
Right?
So.
Yeah, and I feel like there was another one in between there too, somewhere.
288.
The War Machine.
Yeah,
armor.
War Machine. Yeah.
I was like, God, that's a lot of embossed covers for 1 year, guys. Wow.
Hey! Anyone know? Anyone know what a first appearance of the War Machine armor goes for? Because I do have that.
Oh yes, I do too, and I haven't looked recently, but that's going to go up even more recently.
Yeah, Armor Wars. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
actually, that whole run, the original Armor Wars run, is probably going to go up.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, is that coming? Is that coming this year or no?
I thought it was either this year or early next year.
I was going to say, we might have to, if it's coming this year, we might have to change something around to do the Armor Wars comic series.
That's true. We should definitely cover that. Wasn't it originally going to be a series and then they changed it to a film? Or
I think so.
Did I? Okay. Yeah, I feel like that might be next year, unless they put it out at the end of the year this year.
I think Secret Invasion's coming this year.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Finally get to see some Skrull action.
Oh, you mean besides Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Noel. It's biscuit season.
I know.
Oh, no, you missed Salty and Petty with me, Justin, and Lilith. No, that was biscuit season.
That was biscuit season.
Justin literally going to talk about biscuits, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
All right, so should we get to these issues?
Yes, Marvel Premiere.
All right, kids.
47.
If you've never heard the tale of Scott Lang's origin, here we go. All right, so yes, first part 1 is in Marvel Premiere number 47 from cover date April 1979. All right, so I've just turned 1. Ray's a little older than 1, or a couple months older.
Yeah, I was a couple of years old.
Yeah. Oh, back to Biscuit Man. Yeah, he's got a movie this month. Come on.
Biscuit Man.
All right, writer David Michelinie, penciler John Byrne, inker Bob Layton, colorist Bob Sharon, letterer Tom Orchowski, and editors Roger Stern and Jim Salicrup.
Love this team on this book.
Oh yeah, I like David Michelinie. Yeah. Like his Spider-Man stuff, his Iron Man stuff.
Iron Man was good.
Yeah. That's funny that Bob Layton's the inker because he would go on to like pencil some Iron Man stuff.
Yes. Yeah, he did some great Hercules stuff too.
Who's a freak, Noel? Ant-Man? Or are you talking about Justin?
Probably talking about me. He's not wrong. I am a freak.
All right.
Super freak.
Super freak, yeah. All right. Title: To Steal an Ant-Man. As Scott, dressed as Ant-Man, fights several cross security guard. Justin knows what I mean. Oh my. Oh my. As Scott, dressed as Ant-Man, fights several Record Club 3. I just heard about that Record Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think on that Rand episode I was listening to. Yeah. So what is every episode going to be 99 cents? To harken back to the 90s. As Scott, dressed as Ant-Man, fights several cross security guards, he thinks about how he got into this predicament. Recently paroled after serving time for burglary, he reveled in both his new job at Stark International and once again being a father to his daughter Cassie. Unfortunately, she developed a rare heart ailment, draining Scott's financial resources and making him contemplate a return to crime. He learns of Erica Sondheim's experimental approach to heart surgery. Seeking her out, he sees her being abducted by several men, including an unseen figure with a rather oversized hand. Oh, boy. What?
I wonder if my wrist is ready for that.
Yeah, no, he was thinking of kids. Tracing them across technical enterprises, he despairs of being able to break into such a secure complex. In a quest to get some quick money, he burglarizes, by coincidence, the home of Henry Pym, finding instead of cash or jewels, Pym's old Ant-Man costume. Inspired to try it out, Scott quickly masters the shrinking technology and the cybernetic helmet, enabling him to talk to ants. Breaking into CTE, he finds Dr. Sondheim finishing a surgical operation. Back in the present, the fledgling hero has dispatched the last of his foes when he is confronted with the giant mutated form of Darren Cross.
And he looks cross.
Crisscross.
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross gonna make you jump. So Scott. Okay, so yeah, 1979. So I don't have the timeline down. So it says Scott Lang last appeared in Avengers 181. So did we get his first appearance and then before we got his origin story?
Oh, did we?
Maybe, or maybe were they just like, who's the mysterious new Ant-Man? Oh, you better check out Marvel Premiere to find out. You know, did they pull one of those?
Oh wow! See, I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
His first appearance.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because it said he last appeared in Avengers 181, so maybe
as Ant-Man, right? Not as Scott Lang. I wonder if he was like a supporting character. Was that Avengers? What?
181. It's that one with the all of them on the cover and Gyrick saying, 7 of you will remain and the rest of you are out. That issue, yeah.
Yeah, I love that because that established the 7.
Oh, it might have been
strayed from us and said
it might have been Scott Lang. It said something about Stark International and Scott Lang, so he might have just been Scott Lang at that point. Okay.
Just some dude working at Stark. Yeah. Huh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure, of course, who wrote Avengers 181? David Michelinie. So
okay, yeah. Well, we need a new Ant-Man. Okay, well, I just made this character.
So. But this guy works for Stark, see?
Yeah. There we go.
This issue was adapted into an episode of the animated series Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The episode was called To Steal an Ant-Man.
Oh, it was? Oh, wow.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I'm thinking I think that's the one that we get our theme song from, I believe.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Let me see.
But I don't remember that episode.
Yeah, neither do I. Well, it's been so long. Yes, it is. So yes, kids. So there was an episode of this, yes, where we get this song. Yes. So.
Yeah.
I have the first couple of those on, I think, DVD. But yeah, it's been a while since I watched those. I like that because that was like the last animated Avengers that was like comic accurate.
Yes, me too.
Because everyone after that, they just went with the MCU. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very accurate to the comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see that. Yeah, I missed that one.
All right. So thoughts on this first one, Justin?
I really like this one. This is, I think, only the second time I've read this. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. The art's great. The script is good. I like the fact that earlier in this issue when the dudes, when Scott has his like 3 ants with him and the dude's like washing them away with the hose, like you actually see the ants afterwards.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're all alive. They didn't just like indiscriminately kill these 3 ants. Like they were just nothing, you know. You get to see what actually happens to the ants afterwards. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice little touch. The thing I didn't like was the weird like plastic plexiglass shield that dropped down like when he was getting hosed with the water. That weird, it just looked kind of weird to me, that weird plexiglass shield going over his eyes and his neck and his mouth. I just thought that looked kind of strange.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah. I
like it kind of dome. It was, yeah, it just looked weird. I was like, yeah, I don't think that Hank Pym would have designed it like that, but what have you. And I thought that was funny too, that he breaks into Pym's place and he just finds the Ant-Man suit just indiscriminately hanging in some closet.
I know, no lock, nothing. It's just like, oh hey, what's this? And then
it's just hanging there with the helmet and the suit and the whole thing.
And then he's even thinking, he's like, I didn't make the connection before. Oh yeah, hey, Hank Pym, Ant-Man, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's
not. In his defense, he did have a lot of pseudonyms, so
That's true.
It's hard to keep them all straight. Who am I going to be this week? Yeah, I thought that gave me a good chuckle when I was rereading this. I was like, oh yeah, there it is. It's hanging right in the closet. Like, oh, I wonder if he looked in the other closet if he'd see the Goliath outfit or the Giant Man one.
It'd be like the Batcave with all those glass cases. Oh.
God, could you imagine if the Wasp had that?
Oh,
God, she'd have a whole museum wing just full of her costume gallery.
It'd be like the size of a shopping mall, just like all the cases, all these Janet Van Dyne costumes.
That'd be hilarious.
A whole museum, just Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne memorabilia. Jeez.
Through the years. Hank and Janet through the years.
And just
1979. We won't talk about that.
That's true. Again, you get a little case. Oh, here was 2 seconds. Hawkeye was Goliath.
Yes. Oh, and there's the female Yellowjacket, for good measure.
Oh yeah, and don't forget Black Goliath.
Oh yes, Black Goliath.
Remember, also a 70s trope, kids. Remember, just in case you didn't know if a character was black, we put black in front of their name.
Black Goliath. Yeah.
Black Panther. Yes. I mean, I am shocked that we didn't get Black Luke Cage.
Black Power Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That has to be one of the stupidest tropes in comics back. It's just like, yeah, we know the character's black, okay?
I'm glad that they've slowly been kind of phasing those out.
Yeah.
Those old ones, they've just kind of been like, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, the other one that, yeah.
It's not the black talent anymore. It's just the talent, okay?
Exactly. I mean, at least, you could get away with a Black Panther because his suit was black.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it made sense to the theme of because of the actual
exactly.
cat, the Black Panther cat. Yeah. Yeah. But, like, Black Lightning? Like, what? Black Goliath? Like, are you making a porn movie? Like, what are you doing?
Wow! I know.
Yeah.
Oh, but of course, I mean, I love this art. It's like burn art, but like when he grows to like knock the guy out and stuff. And
so good. There's another panel from this issue which I vividly remember being in the official Marvel handbook under Scott Lang's entry, and it was that panel where he fights the guards towards the end of the issue, and he's just kind of he starts off at regular. It was the panel right after that one that you just showed.
Oh yeah, and he like shrinks down. Yeah,
and he like hits him right in the neck.
Yeah,
I thought that was so cool. I remember looking at that in the Marvel handbook. Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah. Oh god, and then that last like double page where you see Darren Cross.
Yeah, that is kind of a surprise because you see earlier in the issue, you see that big giant arm come out of the car and grab him and just hurl him indiscriminately into the wall. And I liked that. It was cool. It's like, ooh, who's that? Is that somebody that we've seen before? Like, is that the Kingpin or what? But no, it's this big giant mutated guy.
The Kingpin. Speaking of titties, that's another comic book trope sometimes where it's like, you know, you'll see like a guy's bare chest, but like zero nipples. It's just like,
yeah.
Okay, I'll buy the no hair on all these guys, but no nipples.
Right. I love too how these giant guys fit in the back of these vehicles, these regular vehicles, like Wilson Fisk and this dude Cross, and yet the suspension, the shocks and the struts on these vehicles don't give out after hauling their massive weight around for probably quite a while.
Oh yeah,
doesn't give out. They made those to last.
That's like in the 90s Nightwing series. Like I know, like Chuck Dixon had like when Blockbuster was running Bloodhaven, it almost looked like he was riding around in a hearse, but it had like a big like a raised roof in the back, so you know, just so it could squeeze in there.
I like, because that actually makes sense.
I know. What's the rule saying? Man, the Ant-Man concept always reminded me how odd Marvel was compared to DC. Yeah, well, I mean, DC had their shrinker, the Atom.
The Atom, yeah, but it seemed like Marvel had a lot more insect-themed characters.
And 99% of them were Hank Pym. Were Hank Pym related.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, you had Spider-Man. That's what, was I saying that to Lilith? I was like, how did we get, well, or no, or were we talking about that last time where it's just like, oh, we got Ant-Man, we got, you know, did one, it was Stan like, I got the one, let's do the other. Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Black Widow.
Yeah. Although, again, I think that Black Widow is more a play on like the Lilith Hellfire motto. It's like mate and then kill. Yeah.
The femme fatale. Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah, it is definitely compared to DC though. Yeah, he's right. It was definitely a little bit more quirky. Because the Atom stuff, like that was more.
That was very science fiction-y.
Yeah, very sci-fi, and like even that Sword of the Atom series from the 80s. That kind of even went on like kind of a fantasy edge.
Beetle.
Sci-fi fantasy.
Human Fly. What? What's going nuts here? Beetle? Human Fly? The Beetle. That's right.
Marvel insect themed characters.
Yeah. Well, they mercifully put Human Fly out of his misery. Scourge took care of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Because at the end, by the end, wasn't Human Fly like eating garbage, like literally eating garbage?
Yeah, he was like all. I think he was almost naked, like all of his clothes were all ripped up, and he was just flying around the town, eating out of dumpsters. Scourge put him out of his misery.
And ours, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy to think the Human Fly actually defeated Moon Knight. Like the dude beat Moon Knight. I still have to remind myself of that sometimes. Not only did he beat Moon Knight, but he like fractured his spinal column.
What the F?
I was gonna say, did Jeff Goldblum have like a bad influence? Is that why they went all trash dumpster diving with Human Fly?
Help me! Help me!
Because again, I mean, they brought back a lot of, for God's sakes, I mean, they brought back Turner D. Sentry after Scourge killed him, but I don't think they brought back the Human Fly.
Turner D. Sentry.
I mean, I love James DeMatteis, but what was he smoking that day?
I love that so much. Yeah, so good. Well, when the Hood brought a bunch of those villains back that had been killed by the Scourge, wasn't the Human Fly one of those?
Oh, maybe he might have been.
I can't remember.
Wasn't there a Human Fly Human Fly as well? I don't know if that was Marvel. Wasn't that what was that? What was that?
I've got a couple issues of that.
Was that what was that? Impact Comics or something from like the early 90s? Was that?
Oh, yeah, there was an Impact one that was based on the Archie.
Yes, Archie, yes. Sorry, Will. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it was Marvel, but yeah, there was a Human Fly.
Yeah. And it was interesting, too, because he had the same color costume theme as the Marvel one.
Yeah, Noel saying 70s.
There was, I wonder, there was like a stuntman type of guy that had a red and white costume. And I think that might have been the Human Fly.
Was that Marvel? Or was that...
Yeah, I think that was Marvel. I've got a couple of issues of that. And I remember one of them was a John Byrne cover. It had the white tiger in it.
Wait a minute.
I think it was...
Oh, maybe, because, what is this? What is this Wikipedia? There was 3 fictional characters appearing in Marvel Comics. 1 is supervillain, 2 were superheroes, in which, so.
Oh, there he is, yeah.
Yeah. So.
That actually looks like a John Buscema cover on the first issue. The red and white outfit, yeah. Oh,
here we go, Noel. The superhero version of Human Fly starred in Marvel Comics, The Human Fly 1 through 19, September 1977 through March 1979.
And I have number 9 of that, which has White Tiger and Copperhead in it. John Byrne cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often I can say this, but yeah, it's a Marvel comic I never read.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that will be on the Lost Library of Legends.
Oh, nice. Mind like a trap, that Justin the yeah, bear trap.
Don't lose the leg.
And there was a Spider-Woman animated episode with the Fly.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Spider-Woman cartoon was weird.
Yes, yeah. Spider-Woman episode, Spider-Woman and the Fly. A crazed scientist named Dr. Hagel becomes a giant fly.
Oh, that's funny.
The Fly found out her secret identity, but when he got turned back to normal, he forgot.
Of course. Yeah.
Those old school cartoons.
Yeah, that Spider-Woman one's so weird. I watched that on Disney Plus not too long ago. I was like, wow, this is so weird. This is so out there.
Yeah, I think Ray and Sarah have talked about it. I don't know if I ever watched that, but they're like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, anything goes. It's just like.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, yes, there have been many human flies. Wait, I gotta see the cut for one of these. Oh, yeah, there's that red and white costume.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, yeah.
So, were we trying to piggyback off the popularity of a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man?
Possibly.
Of course. Mr. Music. Human Fly is also a great song by the Cramps.
Indeed.
All right. So, shall we get to the next issue?
Yes, number 48.
Yes. So, Marvel. A link here. Yeah, I don't think 50 of this might have been. I'm trying to remember. Was that the weird one? Like, I think, was it a Kiss issue or something? I think issue 50 of Marvel Premiere was something weird like that.
Oh, like with an actual like band or?
I thought here. Let me look this up. I'm trying to remember. I think it was something weird like that. That's why I don't think 50 is like on the app. Cause Alice Cooper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I bet that one's going for a lot now.
Oh, probably. Yeah. So I mean, come on. It sounds like something Noel Tate would be reviewing here.
Yeah. Do you have that one, Noel?
Yeah. Special 50th issue of Marvel Premiere was Alice Cooper. They even have one that Alice's first comic book appearance. Let me see.
I remember. I think he did that? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who did the art in that.
Here, let me open this up.
I feel like he did another comic book. Alice Cooper did a comic book in the 90s that accompanied one of his albums.
Oh, penciler was Tom Sutton, inker Terry Austin.
Oh, Tom Sutton?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And there was There was 4 writers: Ed Hannigan, Roger Stern, Jim Salicrup, and Alice Cooper.
Wow. I want that.
I wonder how much that's worth, because
especially if Tom Sutton did the artwork, that's got to be good. Oh.
I wonder how much it's worth, because it probably hasn't been reprinted. I mean,
yeah. Well, let's take a look. Take a gander. Let's take a gander at the webs and see what they say. But yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I knew that there was Kiss comic books. I knew that there was like the David Letterman issue of Avengers or whatever that was, and there were a couple of other things, but I didn't know about Alice Cooper. That's cool.
I mean, maybe Marvel just doesn't want to pay for the rights, but if I was Alice Cooper, I'd be like, yeah, good, put that on the app, you know. But you're giving but you're giving me a cut every time someone reads it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's not on the app.
Well, it looks like a near mint copy is going for around $100.
Okay.
But there's some here that are around 11, 12. 13, 20. But yeah, there's a lot that are around $80, $100.
Yeah, I think Lilith and I might do one later on in the year. There's a Marvel team up where Spider-Man meets the cast of Saturday Night Live, and it's like that original cast of Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think Stan Lee's like the host of Saturday Night Live.
Excelsior.
Oh yeah, I might have that down for April.
Nice. I love it.
All right, let's get to this Marvel. All right, so yes, Marvel Premiere 48 Kids is why the finale, the second part of this thing from June 1979. The Price of a Heart.
Is that a song?
Was that a Bon Jovi song now? Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. I was gonna say same writer, David Michelinie, same penciler and inker, John Byrne, Bob Layton. Colors this time, Mario Sen. Letterers, Gaspar Saladino and Diana Elbers, and one editor, Roger Stern.
Roger Stern, the man.
Yes, wrote some good stuff himself.
Yeah, love Roger Stern.
Scott Lang, the new Ant-Man, attempts to get Dr. Sondheim out of the clutches of the mutated Darren Cross. However, he underestimates Cross's enhanced abilities and is defeated. His equipment disabled, Scott listens as Cross explains his heart condition and the implantation of a nucleo-organic pacemaker. The device backfired, not only slowly mutating him into a Neanderthal-like giant, but also wearing out his heart, necessitating periodic transplants from unwilling donors. Learning he is the next in line to be a donor, Scott manages to fix his equipment and escape. Busting back into the surgical theater just as Dr. Sondheim finished another operation, Ant-Man fights Cross, who suddenly falls dead. Dr. Sondheim tearfully explains that she couldn't let Cross keep killing people, so she put his original, nearly worn heart back in. Ant-Man comforts her and tells her that a little girl, his daughter Cassie, needs her help. After the successful operation on Cassie, Scott is prepared to surrender and goes back to prison. But Henry Pym, who had watched most of the adventure from a discreet distance, demurs, awarding Scott the Ant-Man costume. All right. Yeah, Ant-Man appears next in Avengers 120. Iron Man 125. Yeah. Scott proves himself to be a fan of the Avengers, the British spy show, not the superhero group, and naming his ant companion Steed after John Steed and Emma for Emma Peel. Of course, Steed almost never used her given name, so Scott really should have dubbed his flying ant Mrs. Peel. Dated references.
Yeah.
But then you find that weird at the end where like Hank Pym was just like, I don't know, maybe I can maybe buy not helping out, but at the end it's just like, oh, hey, guy I know nothing about. Yeah, you can keep the Ant-Man costume.
Yeah, I know nothing about you. Like, you broke into my place and stole this out of my closet, but no big deal. Like, I followed you around for a while. I spied on you, and then I got zapped by a little laser that... I forgot to mention that in the last issue, that when he was skulking around in that little air shaft, and there was that little laser in there, and he explained it away as being that, that must be for if lab lab animals escape through the air shaft. That they can stun the escaping lab animals. And I was like, what? Oh, David. Escaping lab animals in the air shaft. Well, I suppose that is a priority, and you would want to put a little mini laser in there. Yeah, actually, in hindsight, that did give me the biggest chuckle out of these two issues, that little mini laser in the air shaft.
I know. Is that where Pym said that's why he didn't jump in right away, because like he got zapped? Because that first issue, it's like
while he was following Scott around, he got zapped by it. Oh God, it's good.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's really quick. It's like the last 2 pages. But I mean, maybe Pym like did his homework on Scott, because he's like, okay, he works for Tony Stark. Tony Stark can keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. I mean, if he had worked for just some regular dude, then probably wouldn't have been that case. But because it was Stark, that was an exception. You know, if he tries to become a super villain, you know, maybe Iron Man can smack him around. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Keep him in line.
Man, them giant.
I liked seeing Yellowjacket too. It was cool.
I know. I mean, the art's great, but man, those giant shoulder thing, you know, those wings or whatever they're supposed to be on his shoulders are.
They're large and in charge.
You can have no peripheral vision in that thing.
Yeah. Did those improve his flight or something? His aerodynamics?
Maybe. I would assume.
I can't see how. I thought if anything that would have hampered his flight.
At least the vision.
In this issue too, they used another few images for. I remember Scott Lang's entry in the official handbook. There was a panel where those 2 guards are looking for him in the cell, and he suddenly grows up and knocks them both out at the same time. And then another panel where Cross is trying to crush him when he's reverts to small size, and you can see this big hand trying to grasp him. I remember that was in the handbook too.
Well, again,
so they really mined these 2 issues for the Marvel handbook images for Scott.
Well, yeah, it doesn't hurt when your first appearance is drawn by John Byrne.
That's true.
But yeah, I thought it was funny. Like, he sends the ants to get his shrink gas after Cross takes it off him, and it takes him almost all night to bring that shrink gas to him.
Those poor little ants working their butts off.
It probably would have been easier to hey, get in there and short out that lock and unlock this door or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Pull on some wires or something with your little mandibles. I love too when in the beginning of the issue when Cross knocks him out and he takes the little tweezers and then he takes that little tiny dental pick and it's the device on Scott's belt to make him grow to big size. Exactly. I don't know why, but something about that really tickled me. Just that whole scene.
And the whole Darren Cross thing is just, again, he's the villain because it's just the doctor told him he would have been completely fine with no transplants or anything, but it's like he just had to slow down and retire, and he's like, no, F that. So he got that experimental treatment, which brought on his condition and the need for more hearts. But it's just again, greed, kids. He was rich enough. He could have just retired and lived a good life.
That's true. He could have gone out on top. Instead, he had to have it all. And that scene where he's choking and grasping onto his chest. Mr. Cross, you canceled my appointments, Miss Brown. Yeah, we've seen so many of those panels in these origin stories of villains where they were these really rich, successful businessmen that just worked themselves to death, and they all had dropped of heart attacks and strokes just in the office because they were just working themselves to death and had to come up with some experimental thing to bring themselves back from the cusp of death because they worked themselves almost into the grave. That was a great little origin story trope of the 70s and 80s and a lot of Marvel, I noticed. These frustrated rich tycoon businessmen working themselves into the hospital.
And again, there's not one employee of Cross's with a conscience who's like, oh, hey, he keeps a room of homeless people who all of a sudden just disappear one at a time.
Yeah, nothing shady about that. Yeah,
he takes their hearts, and then we're disposing of bodies. I mean, we're gonna must be an incinerator or something. But it's just like,
yeah, they can't see the big gaping holes in these people's chests when they're getting rid of the bodies. Yeah,
and
I thought too that was kind of weird. Like, how did they establish a timeline for Darren Cross for how long his body wore out one of those hearts that he got?
I don't think, unless maybe it was just the more he exerted, the quicker he went.
Because it seemed like to me that wasn't very practical.
Yeah, I don't think.
Eventually somebody would start to realize, like, well, we just had 50 homeless men disappear, like, in the last month in this one area, like around this warehouse.
yeah. I mean, this isn't like a long-term plan.
Yeah, he didn't really think this through very well, Mr. Darren Cross.
Again, he was the rich guy. Thought, the world,
that's right.
The world was his plaything, I guess.
He had business sense, but not a lot of
common sense.
Not a lot of common sense. And I think this is his only appearance, this story, right?
I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Again, I was going to say he dropped dead, but that don't mean nothing in comics. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they could have brought it back.
Yeah, but
or his experimental procedure could have been used by somebody else.
I mean, it made sense that the Doctor wanted to put his heart back in, but it's like that's so funny. They're fighting, and all of a sudden he just drops dead.
Yeah. I know. Oh well, that escalated quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oops. Well, I guess that fight is over.
Because, yes, this Dr. Sondheim also would appear later on in Iron Man, so.
Oh, okay. Also written by.
Yeah, and I think even after him, too, because it's like when Tony Stark was having trouble, like health troubles, they brought, Dr. Sondheim in.
Yeah. Maybe was it after he got shot?
I think it was when he got shot, and then I think it was when he had that, what was it? The Mars Brothers. Oh, when he had the chip put in his back, I guess, to fix his spine or whatever.
Yes,
then it started. Yeah.
Right. And that was when he had kind of like that weird cybernetic mesh suit. Right?
Yes.
He could only walk around when he was wearing that or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another rich guy was supposedly killing him.
That's right. I remember that was a shock, actually, that Iron Man issue. Right at the end, when that crazy woman broke into his apartment.
Oh, yeah. That was the end of the issue. Yeah.
Yeah. I was, wow. Yeah, that was good.
And then the next issue was just like that, like a newspaper headline. It's like, Tony Stark's been shot.
Yeah. That was wild. I love that. Good times in Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The 90s kids.
Yeah, the 90s were wild.
That's like early 90s, wasn't it? It's like late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, I think that was early 90s.
I'm trying to think what else. Again, I mean, there wasn't a ton in this, but I mean, it's a good story, but
yeah, it is a good story, and it's a good introduction to Scott Lang as Ant-Man.
Yes,
even though it is kind of silly that how he acquired the costume is kind of silly if you look at it.
Yeah, Pym just keep the suits. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still cool. And at that time, like, how long had it been since Hank Pym had been Ant-Man?
Well, I think he had gotten rid of it for a while, but remember he did put it on when he went in to fix the Vision. What was that like? Was that during like the middle of the Kree-Skrull War?
Oh, yes.
So I don't remember.
That's right.
Put it on after that, but
and that was a few years before this.
Yeah.
But regularly, it had been a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it had been over a decade, I think, at least. So it was time for a new Ant-Man, I think. I think the time was right in 1979 when this came out.
I mean, regularly, like issue to issue, I think pretty early on in Avengers, he switched from Ant-Man to Giant Man pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. And then it wasn't shortly long after that, it was Goliath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think by issue, like, I don't know, was it even issue 2? But I was going to say by 3 or 4, he was Giant Man already. So I think he the one reaches out of the sub and pulls Captain America out of the ice.
Yeah. In that big red costume with With the blue gloves, yeah.
Here, I'm just going to open the hatch on the submarine. No water's going to come in. Just Captain America.
What could go wrong? The 60s.
Oh my God. That's like Charlie and I were reading a Thor story and what was it? It wasn't the Destroyer. It was some kind of monster or something, and like Thor froze it and like shipped it to the North Pole or something.
Oh, really?
And it was like he was like, "Oh, never to menace anyone again." And I was just like, "Yeah, ask Steve. Yeah, that's not true. Ask Steve Rogers." That was another comic book trope. Just like getting rid. That's like when Lilith and I did that Marvel team up with Spider-Man and Red Sonja. At the end, Peter just like throws like the magic necklace in the river. It's just like never to be seen again until Claremont pulls it out again in X-Men. Yeah. It was written by Claremont. I said it literally was he just like, let me throw this in the river until I'm ready to use it again.
What's that shiny thing at the bottom of the river? Oh, that's nothing.
Again, I mean, the last 6 months or so, I mean, there's been a couple stories we've done where like people are chucking stuff. The first Man-Wolf story, Spider-Man rips that moonstone off his throat, chucks it in the river.
Oh, does he? Throws it in the river?
I'm like, really? You just saw this thing turn a guy into a werewolf, and you're just gonna throw it in the river.
Dumping ground for all these magical artifacts. The Ruby of Satorak, dump that in the river.
Oh, God. And
Darkhold, throw that in the Hudson.
Exactly. I know it's a river in New York, but I don't think that thing has the corrosive power you think it does.
that's not gonna destroy that over the length of time that you want.
Hell, it's a New York river. It might just mutate into another menace.
That's right. Even more terrifying than the previous one.
I mean, how many dead bodies were floating down there? I mean, gonna get like an undead werewolf creature or something.
Yeah, that could have turned into the Evil Dead in the Marvel sphere.
Like I said, in that Red Sonja story, he throws the magic necklace in the river. I mean, Kulan Gath's gonna just possess one of those thousands of bodies floating in the New York River. Yes, that was such a trope. It's just like, just throw it in the river or freeze it. We'll never see it again.
Yeah, freeze it. Yeah, take it to the North Pole. Take it to the bottom of the ocean. That was another one.
Well, that's what I always.
We're going to take issue with that. Dumping all your crap in his backyard. Yeah, no, don't try that.
Well, that's what I was saying. Was that always like a tool for comic book writers back in the day? So it's just like, oh, hey, if me or one of my writer buddies, if we just want to bring that back one day, so we're just going to chuck it in the river so someone can just pull it out one day.
Yeah. Some accident will happen. All of a sudden it will get unearthed or reactivated somehow. Yeah. And
at least back in the day, if someone like came back, like a villain came back, or it's like, oh, hey, how did you escape that death trap? You usually like got an explanation. These days, it's just like, oh, hey, so-and-so's alive again. How? I don't know.
Use your imagination.
I know. I think
roll a D20. It's one of the ones on the list.
I forget what story it was. I think there was some Spider-Man story where someone was like, well, how did so-and-so come back? And it was just like, oh, Dan Slott explained it on his Twitter or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Okay. I guess Twitter is essential reading for comic book appendices now.
At least for some writers, I guess. But it's like, just go with it, kids. It's like, oh, really? If you're going to bring back somebody for the 9th time, maybe explain how you brought them back for the 9th time.
Yeah. You don't have to even do it right away. Just eventually get around to it.
And if you people think I'm exaggerating bringing someone back from the dead for the 9th time, all I have to say is X-Men.
Yeah. That's a perfect sterling example of that, if there ever was one.
They were dead, but they got better.
Yeah. Multiple times. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, later this year, so stay tuned for some Psylocke stories.
That's right. That's my girl, Betsy.
Nice. Yeah. All right, Justin. So anything else on these issues? Or?
Yeah, I really enjoyed these. My introduction to Scott Lang, besides the Marvel Handbook, was actually in Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
In the 90s.
Yeah,
in the 90s when Tom DeFalco was writing it and Paul Ryan was doing the pencils, he had Scott Lang pretty much as a regular member of the supporting cast for quite a while. right around the time when Reed Richards died for the first time. And I loved that. I thought he was a great little addition to the Fantastic Four family. And he was featured very well in all of the stories that he was in there. And his daughter, Cassie, was there too. And I remember she was pals with Franklin Richards for a while, and that was cool. So I have a lot of love for Scott from that era. That was kind of my introduction to him and how I found him to be such a cool guy.
I thought I'd read somewhere or heard something before that supposedly they were thinking about they were going to keep Reed Richards dead even longer, or there weren't even plans to bring him back. But damn, Heroes Reborn, they wanted to send the whole original Fantastic Four into Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, another reason to loathe that whole period. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because I didn't mind it when Reed was gone.
Yeah.
I thought that those years were. Or that year, or however long it was actually really cool. They did some really great stories during that time period, which we will also cover.
Oh yes, yes.
I think you picked a couple of those, if I remember.
We've got at least two Fantastic Four episodes on the schedule for this year, kids. So
that's right. A lot to look forward to.
90s Fantastic Four, yes.
I want to give more praise to that time period because not a lot of people give that the praise that it deserves. And I feel like Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan were cranking out some magic back then.
Oh yeah,
and it was stuff that harkened back to like the Stan Lee and Kirby era, at least in spirit for me. I really feel that. I'll defend that to my dying breath. I love the Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan era of Fantastic Four so much.
Oh yeah, and like I know I put on the schedule a Tom DeFalco couple Thor issues too. So
yes, also another favorite of mine.
Eric Masterson, yes,
love that.
Oh,
and also some great artwork from Ron Frenz.
Yes, friend of the show, Ron Frenz. I've talked to him once or twice. Yes,
he's amazing. I love his.
Oh yeah,
he was firing on all cylinders on that Thor issue, that Thor series.
So this is Comics Illustrator Ron Frenz, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
You know what? He doesn't even live too far from here, so one day I should be like, hey, can we sit down and I'll just record something and I'll buy you lunch or something?
Yeah, do an hour interview at Starbucks.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
That's great.
I don't know about the background noise, but yeah. Oh yeah, I talked to him before about like his like Spider-Man stuff, and we talked a little Thor, but that Spider-Man run him and DeFalco did.
Yeah, that was ultimate classic for
Black Suit Kids,
Hobgoblin,
yeah.
Oh man, so much good stuff in that.
Spider-Man beats the crap out of Fire Lord.
Yeah.
You know, he did. You know what he told me? I guess that two issue story with the Spider-Man and Firelord, that was originally going to be in an annual.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, so if like the pacing's a little off or something, that's because it was going to be like one story in an annual.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that would have been cool. A full, because back then in the annuals, the whole annual was the story. Like, it wasn't until the late 80s or early 90s that they started filling up the annuals with backups and pinups and all this other supplemental material.
Well, part of that, too, might have been this, once we started getting crossovers with annuals, which we'll get to this summer, kids.
Yes. We got some more of those coming, too.
Yeah, especially when you're like, oh, hey, part 2 is coming in somebody else's annual. So, yeah.
Yes.
I think we needed a backup. We needed backup stories.
Yeah, to link them all together and bridge them all.
I remember Atlantis Attacks, like the last backup in all of them was like that history of the Serpent Crown. It'd be like,
Serpent Crown.
Be like, it'd be like Serpent Crown Part 12 or something.
Yeah. If I remember, Mark Bagley did the artwork on the Serpent Crown.
Yes.
Backups.
I love Mark Bagley art. Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right, kids. So yes, let's get out of here. Next time, of course, to finish out February, we're going to be we've done the Ant-Mans, we've done the Wasp. Now we're going to get the Kang.
Quantumania continues on Marvel Tales.
It will conclude, yes. For the first appearances of Kang from Avengers 8 and 11.
Yes.
You'll know
some more Stan Lee and Jack Kirby magic for us.
You'll know number 11 by the giant Spider-Man robot on the cover.
Actually, was that Kirby? Or was that Heck?
Oh, I thought...
I'm trying to remember now. Maybe it was...
I thought Kirby was on them unless he just did some of them, but...
It's been a while since I've read those.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know it's the nature of comics, but I'm just, like, thinking about it. It's like, shouldn't Kang have defeated everybody already? It's just like...
Yeah. Well...
Imagine going back 1,000 years in time when you have all of current day technology at your disposal.
Well, yeah, that was why I liked the Kang Dynasty so much.
Yeah.
That big epic story, because that totally made sense.
Oh, yeah.
All of that. Yeah.
And plus time travel, it's just like, oh, hey, after the last battle, I'm going to go home, sleep a couple days, come back 5 minutes later after I fought the last fight. You guys are all tired now. I'm not.
Yeah. No, I guess that was Jack Kirby on number 7. Okay. For some reason.
Oh, yeah. Number 8 was Kirby and 11 is Don Heck. So
11 is Heck. That's what it was. Okay.
So, yeah, we'll get one of each.
Yeah.
All right.
Quantumania concludes with Kang the Conqueror.
That's right, kids. So, yeah, send us your thoughts on those. And, yeah, next month, we'll be starting with a Thunderbolts episode where hopefully Russell will be joining us. Special guest for Russell, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because one of those issues will be a Hulk issue, so hopefully we'll have the whole Gamma Charge team here.
Yes.
Well, 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Carl's pretty busy, so he probably won't be able to make it to that chat, but I'm pretty sure I can snag Russell for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude loves Gamma so much, he drinks soda that's Gamma colored.
Even peas green.
Wow! Oh!
all that green Mountain Dew.
Teach me how to urinate.
We have a drop for that. Yes, we're talking about Russell urinating.
No, I invented that, you dick.
Don't have many drops for him, but there are some good ones here.
Hopefully we'll get some new ones in when we talk about the Hulk and the Thunderbolts.
Nice, yes.
You gotta rub that one in.
All right, kids. Well, I gotta go. I gotta cut up the talk we just had with Lil. If there should be a bunch of drops there.
Oh yes, you're gonna have a feast of new drops from that episode.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Take me days to cut that up. All right, kids. So yes, next episode, Avengers 8 and 11. So send us your thoughts on all your Kang the Conqueror thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And if you want to follow us on social media, if you want our YouTube channel, Patreon, there's links everywhere now on the Capes and Lunatics new website. That's right. You can watch this video there. You can sign up through your email, so we'll email you a alert every time a new video goes up. So
you can see all the previous episodes of Marvel Tales all listed out.
Yes, exactly.
All lined up and ready for you.
Exactly. And again, there's hopefully if I find time or someone else there, we might have blogs too coming. So yeah,
I might crank a couple of those out too, just to
please feel free.
Let people know what I'm reading this week or something, this month or something like that.
Please do.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, find that all at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics podcast. All one word, Capes and Lunatics podcast network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics podcast network. Because Lil Hellfire demanded it. I know I asked her for a website, and then like 6 months later, she's like, here's a thing. Here's an easy way to make a website.
You do it. I love that.
Never so much more in my life did I feel like a 24-year-old himbo as I did when Lil Hellfire was barking out orders at me.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what this feels like.
Come on, get your head out of your butt, buddy.
All right, kids. So send all the thoughts on the Kang stuff. Yes, please. Yeah, check out our website, and again, please subscribe to the Yeah, we'll exactly subscribe to the Patreon, just like our friend Justin here.
Join me in the Patreon Elite. You get all the perks, including the Chai Chester chats.
Yes, and a bunch of great specials coming up this year.
Yes, I love this, that, or the other. It's fantastic.
And again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel because it's completely free, and let's get a little help out of those numbers. You could be a young himbo also. Yes, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. All right.
Yes, we want to get up to 369 this year.
Yes, or beyond, please.
Or beyond.
We said it would be a magic number. Will be like 669 or 699.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, Justin, yes, you're here every week on Marvel Tales. You're once a month on We Are the Night, the Batman podcast.
The Batman podcast.
On Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks. But also, you do even more podcasts. Where can people find you?
Every month I do 3 other shows with my pals Russell and Carl. We co-host Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, where we talk about everything to do with the Hulk and She-Hulk related goodness. And also, Russell and I co-host Tomes of Evil, a comic book supervillain podcast. We will have new episodes out in February about both Kang and MODOK. And we also co-host with our good pal, the High Priest of Khonshu himself, Ray, Predator and Prey, a Yocha podcast, where we talk about everything to do with the Predator, comics, action figures, video games, movies, and much more. And the Lost Library of Legends, my solo project, possibly be coming out as early as March 2023. Scream it!
Well, that escalated quickly.
My favorite biscuit. Yes, and also just watch my guest appearance on Salty.
Oh, yes, episode 7 of Salty and Petty, yes.
And that's coming in February as well, where Lilith and Phil and I talk about our 10 favorite biscuits and croissants in Hollywood.
If you hear that on the podcast, it should have gone up this week, yes, because, Salty and Petty and Marvel Tales started at the same time. So if this is episode 7, yes, Salty and Petty episode 7, so.
We had a blast.
Oh, yeah, definitely a good time. Long episode, kids, but it's worth it, yes.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely.
All right, so, again, thank you, kids, for joining us. Again, next time is going to be Kang, kids. Avengers 8 and 11.
Yeah, this ain't no Ramata. This ain't no Immortus. This is Kang.
The original.
That's right.
All right, and March, so we don't slow down in March, kids. Thunderbolts, X-Men. Oh, I think in the March is our Avengers JLA crossover with Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, March is going to be a good month on Marvel Tales, too.
Every month. All right.
Yes.
Make mine Marvel.